Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data, and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Woo woo. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, I hope you guys all had a great Halloween and had fun. I want to tell you that the day of Halloween, I was given an incredible suggestion of a Halloween costume, and it would have been genius. There just wasn't enough time to get it together. But my Pilates instructor was like, Heather, I know what you should be, because she was listening to Juicy Scoop. And she said, you should be pregnant Giselle, and Peter can be the karate jiu-jitsu guy, whatever. And I was so excited, but I knew it would be hard to get this outfit together. Also, it'd be so genius because she only announced her after her pregnancy early in the week. So nobody could have been that during that big Hollywood, millions of hot parties, Halloween situation. So I was like, this will be such an original idea. But there just wasn't enough time to try to find a karate outfit for Peter and a baby bump for me because we were doing stuff that day. So we went as Game of Thrones, and I wore a long blonde wig, and a lot of people just thought I was Cher. So maybe I'll be Cher next year. Anyway, it was fun. I hope you had a good, fun, safe time. Moving on to this weekend, you guys, I will be at the Irvine Improv. One show this Friday night, and then that's stand-up with Julie Goldman, who will also be doing stand-up before I come on stage. Then 2 shows on Saturday, November 9th, 7:30 and 9:30. And then on November 10th, there is a Juicy Scoop Live. And that's always so fun. That's at 7 p.m. That is lots of special guests, special surprises. There's going to be a Q&A, which I rarely do. So it'll be a little interactive. Lots of really funny, edgy ideas. This is not streamed. This is not going to be recorded and played later on any platform. This is only for the people in the room. So get your tickets at heathermcdonald.net. Okay. Well, listen, you guys, obviously the news is all politics. And you come to Juicy Scoop to escape the political talk and just have some fun and talk about juicy, frivolous shit. Which, thank you to all the people that have thanked me for that. Let me tell you, I've missed out on a lot of great opportunities to be really fucking funny and make some videos go viral. But no, I made a commitment to you and I'm sticking to it. So, as we get through today, this story, there were other news sources that were trying to do something other than politics. And this was a big, big deal. Peanut the squirrel is an adorable squirrel that belongs to very attractive human squirrel-owning parents. They're all influencers, but I guess Peanut is the biggest Instagram star in the house. This is a sad story. He's no longer with us. This happened in New York City, and people are absolutely so upset. I saw the TMZ article with the grieving parents of Peanut. So apparently, Peanut, the squirrel pet, was euthanized by the New York State authorities, triggering significant public outcry. This was done as part of a rabies test after someone reportedly said they were bitten by the squirrel. And the authorities justified their actions by highlighting the illegal nature of keeping wild animals as pets. Now, the owner, the dad, Mark Longo, Peanut's owner, along with his supporters, started an online petition to plan to take legal action against what they claim was excessive force during the raid. They said these people came into their house, they separated them, they found Peanut. There was also a raccoon. But now there's other people. A New York congressman says that he and his fellow delegates want to answer. They want answers from the governor about Peanut. So now this guy is like standing behind Peanut. And of course, it's sad whatever, this Peanut was probably bringing in some money, bringing a lot of joy to people. I'm sure I'm going to get comments that people are like, Heather, this isn't funny. You don't know who Peanut is. You don't know what he brought to people. I don't. I understand to these people it must have been like a dog. I don't know who lied about being bit by Peanut or not. I don't know if there was surveillance cameras. Peanut didn't get an attorney. It was a big deal. But I see squirrels all the time, and I could see why someone thinks, like, I think this squirrel's freaking adorable, and I think I could train it to live in my house and be perfectly fine. And I guess Peanut was perfectly fine. And they're saying, we don't even know that it bit anybody. Like, how did this happen? And, like, it was like a raid. Like, all these people came. And then, of course, people are like, really, with all the shit that's going on in New York City, this is what our tax dollars, this is where you put the effort around this little innocent squirrel that, was just hoping to go to, like, a Revolve party at Stagecoach. I don't know. I feel really badly that Mark and his girlfriend or wife, they were crying. And the TMZ guys were practically crying. They were very involved with Peanut's life. And so, yeah, that's a story that doesn't involve politics, but it does. I see it does. Because why? Why was Peanut? Why did this happen to Peanut? So I don't know. Hopefully they can find another squirrel. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll realize, squirrels, it's too much of a risk to have a squirrel living in your house. I don't know. But I guess there was also a raccoon that was involved. But I don't know if that raccoon was an Instagram influencer too. I don't know, you guys. This is the most I got out of the story. So it's very sad. Also, over the weekend, I watched the Martha Stewart Netflix doc. There were stories leading up to this, and I really enjoyed her. Really dry sense of humor. She's like in her early 80s. She looks amazing. She said she did not like the special that much. She said it looked like she portrayed like an old lonely woman because they showed her walking around her garden. She has this incredible property where it looks like she's like the only gardener there, which obviously they can't be it. It's like acres and acres, but it's like literally so many shots of her like driving around in like a tractor or whatever and like talking about like to people like this one needs to be trimmed this way. It's really kind of amazing how much she knows. But anyway, she said that she looked kind of old as she like walked around with her old walk or whatever, which was kind of funny. She talked about her husband cheating on her and said, listen, if your husband's cheating on you, look at him like what he is. He's a piece of shit and get rid of him. But she didn't get rid of him. She shared all of her letters that she wrote to him over and over again, saying that she was so hurt because he was like a serial cheater. The worst was that she had this girl working for her who needed a place to stay. And she's like, oh, just stay in the guest house. And then she found out they were having an affair. So that really sucks when you hire someone to like, help with your flowers or whatever, or help with your baked goods. And then she's fucking your husband. So that part was sad. But then they brought up the fact that she had cheated a couple times and she didn't consider it cheating. She's like, oh, please. It was a brief dalliance with a very attractive Irishman. You think I was going to leave my husband for an Irishman? No. He doesn't even know about it. And then the documentarian is like, no, he did. We talked to him. And she's like, oh, well, it was an Irishman. He was attractive, but I mean, come on. So that was pretty funny. Now, it was really great. I think you should watch it. It really showed what she built and how hard she worked. And, was she a bitch on occasion because someone used the wrong knife? Yeah, that's her job. Her job was to show people that were working for her on camera how to make stuff. So if they're using the wrong knife, she's got to say, hey, you're using the wrong knife. Like, you work for me. We're not going to have cameras here. And then have someone see that you don't even know how to use the proper knife to dice the onion. So there were a couple moments where, like, she was a little short with people. Okay, I don't think, like, that made her sound like a bitch, sound like a boss. So it's really funny. They get into her Snoop thing, and then they get into why she went to prison. And it definitely seemed a bit of a witch hunt going after this woman. And but I'm not going to say it all. So you guys watch it. I talk about it a little bit more on my next Patreon and get into some more details. But it's good, and I have a lot of respect for her, and she is fun. And okay, now other sad news. Teddi Mellencamp of formerly Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She and her husband, Edwin, of 13 years, she announced on Saturday that she's getting a divorce. And she said, I'm coming forward with this before speculation begins, but we made the difficult decision to divorce. Also, Tamara said on her show that she has a photo that was sent to her from Vicki while Vicki was filming the never-to-be-seen Ultimate Girls Trip in Morocco. And she did not show the photo, Tamara, but said it looked like Brandy was on top of her and like, Caroline Manzo couldn't get out, and Vicki sent it being like, this is crazy, whatever. However, most of the girls that were on that trip have stood up for Brandy, saying Brandy doesn't deserve this. It wasn't the way Caroline has described in her lawsuit against Bravo. So by Tamara bringing this up, I feel like this isn't great for the case. It's good for Caroline, and it's not great for Bravo. I think she was doing it to get at Vicki, but I think this wasn't a smart move to share this publicly because it doesn't help the case as far as Caroline suing Bravo, and Bravo is the employer of all these people. So there you go. Jennifer Lopez was out, being photographed and having fun. And remember, she's in this movie. It's called Unstoppable, that is getting really good reviews. And I think it's kind of a different role for her, a more serious role. And Ben Affleck and Matt Damon were producers. And he was talking about the movie, and he said Jennifer is great in it. She's fabulous, which doesn't surprise us. Like, he wants the movie to do well. He doesn't want the narrative to be that he was an asshole that tricked her into falling back in love with him and then dumping her. So this is good. Like, this could be the cherry on top of the divorce cake, that they all participate in this movie that is like really good, well received, maybe get some awards during awards season. I said that too. Wouldn't it be great if she was nominated for some things for her acting in this movie? And, and falling in love with him again was just a big 3-year mistake on her part. And she moves along and she walks off with an Oscar and whatever. But I kind of think that's what is trying to be put out there at this time. Well, Ye and Bianca, Kanye, also known as Ye, and Bianca are talking about starting their own nudist colony. They are in nudist therapy, where they meet with a therapist and are nude. That's couples therapy. And according to these sources, they say, well, we know that she likes to walk around partially nude, oftentimes without shoes, which I feel is the cruelest part of this whole nude thing, especially when you're at Disneyland. But that what you don't know is that he loves being nude too. And I am like, ew. First of all, I don't know if I believe this story at all. It's from In Touch Weekly. This is just like a source told In Touch Weekly, whatever. They want to start a nudist colony where people would just walk around nude, which, by the way, nudist colonies and nude beaches and all that stuff have existed for a really long time, like nude cruises, all this stuff. So I guess people will like it. But I don't know that his body's ready to be nude right now. And he wears a lot of sweats and things. So they're like, no, you have no idea how much Kanye just loves walking around nude. It's just so weird. But this might be her. This is all her, supposedly. So now we go to it's really Bianca who loves being nude. She has pushed for it. She loves it. It's not like she's being forced to wear barely anything. She loves it. So very weird and interesting. Lizzo said that she's decided to stop being vegan amid weight loss journey. So now Lizzo has never said that she is on Ozempic. She wore an Ozempic really funny costume But she's never said that she's been on it. Now, there's all the different versions of it, but it's basically, are you on the shots that curb your appetite or not? And most people are, that have lost a significant amount of weight within like a year period. And she's one of those people. And it's one of the things I predicted right from the start. I said, watch, Lizzo's going to lose weight and it's not going to be, it's going to be received differently. Some people are going to feel like you've abandoned your positivity, whatever. She looks great. People are still like, let's not forget, she was awful to her dancers who are filing a lawsuit, and I don't know where that went. I also don't know when the last time she brought out new music. I hope she's working on new music, but she looks great. And anyway, my opinion of her not being vegan is when you're on these weight loss shots, it's really important that you eat protein because you're not that hungry and you want to eat like salmon, fish, something like that. And I think it is kind of a hard thing to do with vegan. And you're like, I don't need to be vegan. Like, I'm barely eating. Let me just have what I want. So that is what I think is really behind this. Okay. Well, you guys have been asking and asking, where is Meghan Markle's American Riviera Orchard products? Where is the jam? Where is it? Like, how are we even going to get through the holidays without these products? Well, there's been an issue with the trademark situation. Because the two things. They're saying it's too similar to another lifestyle brand called Harry and David's Royal Riviera pear baskets. That is a little similar. And when they say it's similar, they're saying there's a confusion and we had it first. So I guess she right now is still trying to get the trademark. So they protested, the Harry and David people protested, claiming that it's confusion. Then they also noted issues. The U.S. patent also said that there is an issue because Markle's brand name, because it describes a geographic location, which complicates trademark approvals. There really is an American Riviera Orchard that's like somewhere near her house in Montecito. But now she bought a house in Portugal, so who knows when she's leaving America if this isn't going to work out. Their $100 million Netflix deal that they inked in 2020 for all the content, the $100 million worth of content that Netflix was going to reap from working with Meghan and Harry, that's almost over with. What did we see? Besides the documentary, am I missing something? Was there a scripted series? Was there like a Love is Blind franchise I missed? Where was all the $100 million worth of content that Netflix got besides the documentary about them? There was nothing else. So that ended. Just like the, I don't even know, $40 million Spotify deal had. So she was really putting all her energy into making some jam that she sent to influencers. And that has not worked out. I am telling you guys, we are getting so close to Meghan Markle joining some type of ladies reality show. Maybe it won't be Real Housewives. Maybe it'll be something in Portugal. Maybe it'll be the Real Housewives of Portugal when she goes over there. It looks like her house is in some part of like a golf country club situation. That could be fun. There could be like a mix of expats or whatever, or ex-Europeans or all Europeans, or I don't know who's living in Portugal, but it sounds like a delightful place to be. And I'm telling you, that's happening. Of course, there's always rumors that they're not happy and blah, blah, blah. But we'll see. Also, that could maybe not a big deal. Maybe she gets her trademark and you guys eat the jam by Christmas and you're like, why did Heather even bother talking about that? I don't know. But I'm telling you, I don't think the jam's going to be a big deal, a big hit. And I think we're going to see her on some type of reality show, TV, something sooner than we could imagine. Also, according to New York Post, King Charles has cut off his brother, Prince Andrew, who was also, best friend with Epstein, his $1.3 million allowance. This is according to a book. And he lives in this house, Prince Andrew, and he's like renovated and everything, but he doesn't own it. It's like this lease that is part of the royals leasing this land. So if he loses, if this is true, which is said in this book, and he loses this allowance that he gets from King Charles, this 1.3 million a year, that would really cause him to probably have to move out, and he may never reap the benefits of like renovating this house. And I mean, he doesn't have his duties anymore, so he's probably like, why do we have to pay him if he's not doing anything for us anymore? Because he was such a disgrace because he was hanging out with Epstein. He did that horrible interview with the BBC, interviewer where he's like, I don't sweat, and therefore, this person lied about me ever being with her at a nightclub and all the stuff that went on with that story. We all know he's a piece of shit and he's gross. So good luck to him. This Juicy Scoop episode is brought to you by No CD. When people joke about being a little OCD, I wish they knew what it's really like to live with OCD, because it's nothing like the stereotypes about having to be super neat, tidy, and organized. OCD is a serious condition that can become totally debilitating. The thoughts can feel so real that seeking help can seem like a huge risk. It can feel like there's nothing you can do, but it doesn't have to stay that way because OCD is highly treatable with the right kind of care. And that's why I want to tell you about No CD. With No CD, you can do virtual therapy with a licensed therapist who specializes in OCD, so they understand what you're going through and know how to help. No CD therapists are trained in exposure and response prevention, or ERP. It's a type of therapy that is specifically designed for OCD, and it's considered the gold standard treatment. No CD also accepts many major insurance plans and offers always-on support between sessions, so you are never alone. To learn more about therapy with No CD, go to nocd.com and schedule a free 15-minute call with their team. That's NOCD.com to learn more and book a free 15-minute call. All right, now for our very juicy interview. This is truly an inside Hollywood. What is happening now? I've got Tara Electra, who started her own agency, Unruly, to represent some of the biggest influencers and many of the biggest OnlyFans stars, and how that really works and how beneficial it is. Also, she's teamed up with returned Juicy Scoop guest David Weintraub, who is producer, agent, manager to the stars. And they really get into what this business is about and how OnlyFans is really changing people's lives and all the juicy, good and bad stories that go along with it. All right, let's get going. So Tara, tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into creating your own agency.
Yeah, so I've been working with influencers for 10 years. So like right when influencers were just becoming a thing and no one knew what to do with them. And I just had so many friends that had like millions of followers, and everyone thought if you had millions of followers, you're making millions of dollars. And there was a lot of influencers that were broke, making nothing, which was like people recognize them on the street, but they're broke and they can't figure out how to make money. So I started seeing a lot of the problems that they were dealing with, and I started helping them monetize in literally every single way you could possibly monetize on the internet. And so, I failed. I started a lot of businesses. I got fucked over in LA, just went through all the Hollywood stuff.
Well, tell me, what is your favorite I got fucked over stories?
Oh, my favorite one was this one guy basically came to me, and he was a friend of mine, and he's like, I have this idea for this platform, but I need influencers for it. And so he's like, and I'm like, okay. And then he's like, I'll give you 50% of it and we'll start building it. So we started building it for like 3 months. He found this investor and was like, hey, if you go sign 10 influencers up on a letter of intent, he'll invest like $1 million. So I'm like, okay. So I go sign with Dre London. I signed Post Malone. So Dre London's his manager. I signed like this guy Vitali, who was a big influencer, Helen Owen and Zach, like a bunch of influencers. I signed 10 of them. My friend didn't know any of them. So I got all these people to sign up to the idea just off me pitching it. And then the investor's like, okay, I'm coming in. They started the company formation and all the stuff. And then I went to a meeting with one of my mentors, and he was sitting next to me, and we were talking to him about how to build the financial aspect of the platform. And the guy's like, what's the name of the LLC? And then my friend told him, and he's like, oh, it's this. And he looked it up. He's like, okay, so I see you own X amount, and then he said the investor's name, and he's like, and he owns the other amount. So it's just you two. And I was sitting next to him, and I looked over at him. I'm like, what? And then I found out, I called the investor, and he said to the investor that I was just his assistant, helping him gather the talent. Wow. And he formed the company behind my back.
How many years ago was this?
It's probably like when I was like 23. So like probably I'm 30 now. So then.
Is that platform still around?
So then I called all the influencers. This is the best part. So I
Yes.
called all the influencers. I said, you can stay if you want to keep going, but I'm going to pull out. And every single one of them fell off. And then fast forward, I have Unruly blow up.
Your
And-
agency now.
Yeah, my agency now. I get invited to a meeting with the owner of a huge platform. I go to the meeting and I'm sitting down with the owner of the platform and he comes in as his employee writing notes for the meeting.
Wow.
It was so
The
fulfilling.
tables turn.
Yeah,
Always.
that's a great female you fucked me over story and fuck around and see what happens kind of a story. I like it.
Yeah, I feel like in LA as like a female in this industry, people automatically initially will take you, like put you down or think that you're not going to be at the level they will. So it's you get underestimated.
Why
Yeah.
do you think that though? I feel like there's so many successful women that are like just bosses now
Nah.
that I don't feel like anyone walks in a room now and thinks that at all, because you know that like women are coming to the table with money and you make so much money for these women.
Yeah.
You know, it changes their lives in so many
But I
ways.
think even 10 years ago, things were really different.
Exactly.
Even 5 years ago. I
Really?
feel like finally it's like
Finally, yeah.
kind of leveled out and is, you know, based more on like the merit of what you bring in and not to underestimate people. But yeah, I think there's just that natural assumption of like, oh, you know, you must be the cute assistant since you're young
Yeah.
and you're cute. You're the cute young assistant. You know, that was it. Like that was just, you know, we've seen
Yes.
you must be in the mailroom. You must
now it's
whatever.
the hot CEO.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
exactly. So, so now, okay, so you guys threw this big Halloween party that's like all over the news. I
Crazy.
talked about it on Thursday's show. I called you,
What'd you say?
David.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
I
yeah,
just
that
said
was the
this
day,
story is crazy, which was that P. Diddy's 3 sons were at your Halloween party with all these influencers, sexy influencer, like OnlyFans people and rock stars and rappers. And they approached Ray J because they don't like that Ray J has been speaking about the P. Diddy case and tried to fight him. And then Chris Brown tried to step in and break it up. And I'm like, and then your name is thrown in it, David. And I'm like, I immediately texted you and I'm like, what is this?
Well-
and then I'm like, and what was everybody dressed as? Because that's the most important part of the story.
Well, Ray J went dressed as Kanye. First of
Amazing.
all, but we'll get to that. First of all, that was the 5th party that she's done, and I've been to 5 of the 4. And this party every year is the hottest Halloween party by far. I mean, it's taken like, forget about like the Playboy Mansion or the Maxim party or whatever. The Unruly party is that party.
Okay.
And
Plan on being invited next year.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you.
Everybody fights to get into this party. I mean, like lines of people, bands, and there's a whole process to get vetted and in. And, you know, it is the sexy people. It is the beautiful people. It is the famous people. This year, I brought clients of mine and friends of mine. I brought Amber Rose and I brought Ray J. And, you know, the party was going amazing. We just had a good time. There was not like
Nothing was bad inside.
we were everybody was partying. Ray was partying with Chris, with Tyga, with Amber was doing her thing.
Ty Dolla $ign was
Ty
there.
Dolla $ign,
Lane Barker came, Anwar Deed.
Yep.
I mean, literally so many people.
Tana,
It was
of
wild.
course. And everything was great. We were just having a ball. And like, you know, there is a lot of content being shot there. So you would think that if there was any kind of like kerfuffle of sorts, it would be video everywhere of that. But the party was great. And then when we were leaving, you know, everyone was kind of in masks. And I had my security. Chris was kind of in front of us. Me and Ray and Amber were walking out. And then like 3 boys in masks just like came up and just started. I couldn't even really hear what they were saying, but they just pressed Ray. They were pressing him and pressing
Physically
him.
pressing.
Like pressing in the world of hip hop means to come up and sort of just be aggressive with somebody and
Okay.
to kind of be like, yo, this is X, Y, and Z. And it just didn't really make any sense. So them being Ray was actually at that moment ready to fight. I mean, it was because this was the 3rd time that one of the kids had approached him and said that he wasn't to be talking about his father. Now, Ray is a television star. We have our own outlets, our own networks, our own TV shows, and he's on television every day. So if you're in an interview and you're being asked about pop culture news, and you have an opinion of something, you have every right to say it. You can't stop him. Nobody is bigger than the next person. And I think that Ray felt you can't keep continuing to go and press me. So at that moment, just all hell broke loose. They started to kind of like bump each other and got a little wild. Chris Brown ran to the side, pulled the Diddy boys off, and me and my security pulled Ray off. And it was like, we're not going to ruin the Unruly party with this stuff because this is what
it's called the Unruly party. It's kind of appropriate.
I'm like, of course, like I bring my clients to the Unruly party to hang out. That like we also want Unruly and DWE to be in business with these people, and then all hell breaks loose there. So luckily, I think that we avoided, a bigger problem because Ray's not a guy to play around with, and I mean it could have gotten very serious very quickly. And that's a scary moment.
So who broke it up? The security people?
No, Chris and I.
Oh, Chris Brown. That's right. He was there.
And Amber Rose was there.
And
too,
Amber.
Right?
And Amber. And Amber's like, why am I in the middle of this? Is like, it was just it was kind of just a weird, but that's like the normal world. I mean, for me, I have such an eclectic group of clients. I mean, I have rappers, rock stars, reality stars, influencers, pop culture people that are famous for 2 minutes for whatever reason. Like I have a lot of very interesting clients. So like that group moving around in that group's party is just a big menagerie of craziness, as you can imagine. Because the Unruly party is the Unruly party for a reason.
So then it all ended okay. So
for today.
For now.
We'll see what happens after this podcast. But fuck them. Don't fucking press Ray. Ever.
Wait, I think this is pretty amazing. This is TMZ. This is your client, little baby.
No, this is my friend's client, but this is a gig that I did.
For okay.
Lil
So
Baby,
what is this story?
So, the personal appearance business is the business. So like they had personal appearances at their party where people are performing, and that's not considered a concert because you're not selling tickets to it. So like a personal appearance is when you bring in a celebrity to do a private show. And that is what we're doing. This is one I did.
That's like Beyonce at the Atlantis opening in Dubai. Like the
Yes.
biggest stars, they'll pay. So there's enough rich people that will pay to have their favorite person at their event.
Yes, and I have a lot of those clients. And this particular bar mitzvah, this is a really wonderful Persian Jewish family who I've done a number of parties for. They're great, very generous, and they just want to have their guests have the best time. And we brought in Lil Baby to do a private show for the kids, and it was a surprise
for the bar mitzvah.
For the bar mitzvah,
I love it.
And this is a lot of money is exchanging hands, and people are doing. I mean, to have your dream rapper come to your bar mitzvah there is nothing like that in the world. And the thing is, Lil Baby is a complete professional. He was on the plane on time. He was there early. He took all the pictures. He did an incredible show. The family is happy. And then when you do that kind of gig, for me, I have 10 other families that now want me to go and do their parties and go bring them their talent, When we need a comedian, I'm hiring you.
Yes, this is what I have been manifesting, okay? Is as a comedian, I won't just do my hour stand-up.
No.
For the right price.
Yes.
Does your wife love Housewives and want all the dish and want me to do all the impressions and hang out with she and her friends on the mega yacht in Dubai, whatever? That is lifestyles of the rich and funny, and you bring me in.
Wow. So are we using...
It's hanging out. It's a little more of a hangout.
So
it's not the 30-minute, rap bit for the kids because I don't know that I could pull that. But the experience of having me be one of the girlfriends of all your rich friends and kind of being the court gesture for the right price.
Could this be a paywall kind of
for the right price? I will do it.
Tested it with her.
Go on the trip.
She's different comedian, definitely different.
Right.
But definitely a cool industry for sure.
We'll see. I feel like that can happen.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen.
I like that though.
I can see that.
Let's think about. We'll have to sidebar about that one.
Yes. Hey, Juicy Scoopers. If you know me, you know I adore my handbags, and I always strive to keep them looking pristine. Well, I've just discovered Curé. It is the ultimate solution for protecting and preserving my purse collection, ensuring that they stay beautiful and last forever. I absolutely love this because I unfortunately am rough on my bags and my purses. So it's so great. And if you think about it, you can clean and maintain your shoes, your car, even your body. So why not give your luxury handbags the same care? These bags are an investment, and with Curé, you can make them last a lifetime. Plus, if you ever decide to resell, Curé helps keep your bags in perfect condition so you can get the top dollar. In today's world where overcompensation is a big issue, it's crucial to make things last as long as possible. And by taking care of our handbags with Curé, we can do just that. There's a limited supply available, so head to mycuré.com to get your leather care kit today. That's MYCUIRE.com, the best way to make your handbag last forever. Hey, Juicy Scoopers, I want you to do something for me right now. Go into your bathroom and count how many skincare products you have in there. I counted mine. It was ridiculous. It was over 30. And I don't even know what half of them do. What if I told you you just need 5? Well, with JLo Beauty, that's all you need for radiant, glowing skin. The secret is JLo Beauty's 5-step routine featuring 5 multitasking formulas designed to cleanse, refresh, and prep your skin to take on the day. It's so easy. It's an AM/PM solution that gives your skin a smoother, visibly brighter look. You guys have actually been saying that my skin looks better. I have been using it, and it really improves the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles and protects, which is the most important thing. JLo Beauty products look and feel luxurious with ingredients and packaging that you would expect from the most premium skincare products. Get more glow for less with your skincare routine. Try that JLo Beauty Deluxe Kit for 60 days. And if you're not completely satisfied, just return the bottles, even if they're empty, and get your money back. Get the only skincare routine you'll ever need. Head to jlobeauty.com/juicyscoop to receive 20% off plus 3 free gifts, including 2 quality face masks and 1 hydrating Beso balm. Head to jlobeauty.com/juicyscoop for 20% off and 3 free gifts, a $175 value. jlobeauty.com/juicyscoop. So, you know, the latest with the P. Diddy is we still have no other celebrity names. However, this guy, Courtney Burgess, he's a witness. He did testify for the grand jury saying that he got videos on a zip drive from Kim Porter that were freak off type parties. It looked like everybody involved but Diddy were victims, and 2 to 3 were possibly underage, looked to be, and there were some celebrities, but he didn't say any names or anything. So that's the latest on that. So, you know, a lot of people think he's not even in prison. A lot of people think he was switched on Saturday.
Wow.
Or he's already been switched because they did a raid on the prison.
What do you mean by switched? You mean that it's not him?
It's a dupe.
It's a dupe.
That's actually in prison.
Where is he? Is he
Hiding
dead?
out.
Alive?
Hiding
Oh,
out.
alive somewhere.
Oh, he's alive.
I think alive somewhere. I'm saying if we're going to go down the route of if you were in that position, let's say you're innocent, you're P. Diddy, you're innocent, but it looks like the cards are stacked against you, and there is an opportunity for you to go to an island somewhere and not have to face possible life in prison. Mm-hmm. But you're never going to be P. Diddy. You're never going to have fun parties anymore. You're never going to have power. You're never going to make music again. You're just going to be like safe on an island, like in a nice house, whatever. You know, would that even be something that would be satisfying to your life? I don't know. Mm-hmm. But so that I think it's crazy because who's the person? Who's the person that's like, oh, I'll take over and never say anything and get plastic surgery to look like you. I don't know.
It's a robot.
That's true.
I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that. I think he is there. But, you know, with everything that you guys like touching on, I just want to kind of get your general, like, what is the vibe? Are people scared that names are going to be called? Because I'm like, we never knew any names in Epstein. We never got no other person went down for that. So I'm kind of like,
I thought so many people came out about Epstein that were associated with it, but like nothing ever happens.
Well, the list of all the people on the planes and, you know, things like that. But I mean, look, if there was 8 sex tapes that existed with all of these people, there is about zero chance that it would be able to be suppressed for that long in this market without somebody either leaking clips of it or shopping it at this point. And it's not the same era of a lot of stuff that we obviously lived through with, like, you know, the Ray J Kim sex tape. That was a different era. You know, that was a business. Papers were signed. A product comes out. A video is sold, you know, makes 200 million. This is a time when this is about like illegal activities that may have been influenced by partying. So this is a very weird, touchy time. If it's going to come out, I think you already would have seen a little bit of it. Because the only way to get people active in that world is to drop the photo of it or to drop the little leak, because that makes everybody scurry to make sure it goes away.
I mean, I think what happened is why it came down is exactly that. I think he, like Epstein, filmed it all for his own archives, joy, but also like blackmail. I do think Kim Porter got hold of it, and maybe she, you know, and maybe when she presented it to him, that's what happened, and then someone else got it, and so we'll see. But like, I hate that every week there's like 15 articles like this, and we'll, you know, the trial isn't for months and months, so I don't know. Like, we'll see what happens if anybody gets mentioned, you know.
What's crazy to me is the kids, like Justin Combs and Sean Combs, all of them were living like at the
His
peak
children,
in LA. Like, they threw all the parties. They were just living the life, dating all these famous influencer girls, and like they were like having the life. So it's just wild to me to watch them, their whole world be changed.
And remember when Steve Harvey's stepdaughter dated dated P. Diddy's son and then started dating P. Diddy?
Yeah, I've heard of things like that. Like he's dated people that his sons have dated. Yes, I've heard.
But then also, like, America's Dad, Steve Harvey, was like okay with that. Makes you go, what the hell? Who knew what? Or maybe you didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Maybe you were like, whatever, she's an adult. He's delightful to me. We've always been friendly. I mean, just because there's people with photos with him doesn't mean anything. Like, if I was at a party and P. Diddy was there and someone was like, let me get a photo of you, I'd be like, 3 years ago, and then it would look like I did something.
Well, people
weird.
are only looking at it like that now. I mean, that's what they're saying now, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Diddy's 50th birthday, and I went to Diddy's Super Bowl party in Miami right before COVID. Those were dope parties. There was nothing weird going on. I didn't see anything weird going on. Every celebrity was there, and they were having a good time, but it wasn't like some sex party. It was a regular party.
But how long did you stay?
I mean, I wasn't there till 5 a.m, but I was there probably till like 2. There was no secret room that I saw or like some weird thing going on. It was a party. It was a birthday party. It was a Super Bowl party. Now, look, I'm sure as the hours get weirder and the drugs start to kick in and the alcohol goes crazier and the regular people leave that aren't in that little circle, the weird shit may start to go down. But isn't that at any party in the world? Like, isn't there like, there's always like the party and then the after party? And I'm not condoning any of that stuff, but I'm saying a lot of people went to those parties and did not see anything.
100%.
So you cannot be shocked in any way that they're like, well, how did you not know? How did you not know? Ray J's on TV talking about it. He didn't know. He traveled the world with Diddy. He never saw. I mean, if something like that really was happening, that's happening with a very small group of people in a very tied-in inner circle.
Well, I feel like this on a much lower level is like, I have never tried cocaine. I've never done it. I've never tried it. And what I've always realized with that is, even though I wouldn't care if we were hanging out and you guys did a line, whatever, that's your business, whatever. I'd be like, be careful, there's no fentanyl. Be careful, there's no fentanyl in it. Be sure it's not pink. Like, I would be like concerned today, but let's just say 5 years ago, I wouldn't care and I would never judge and I would never tell.
Right.
But what I've noticed is I've literally never seen anyone do it since I was like 19.
Because they know you don't do it.
If they know I don't do it, they keep it very private. And I kind of think this is probably the same thing.
Yes.
If they know you're not down and you're not going to be participatory,
right,
then they don't want you to know that they do it. And so they keep it very separate. And so the night that you have with Diddy is going to be very different than somebody else
Very true.
know? So I think
Agreed.
it's very similar to that. And so then when people say, did you see anything weird? Did you ever, to me, Heather, did you ever see this person do drugs? I can honestly say no.
Yeah.
No, I never did. You know,
Yeah.
like, they knew that wasn't my thing. I had cocktails with them, you know, but that was it. So it's like, I think it could be kind of like that. Now, getting back to your business and stuff. Okay, let's talk a little bit about OnlyFans, because you know, when it first started, it was like, oh my God, this is like a way for an independent woman to be in charge of her sexy whatever porn.
Yes.
But then we realized, no, it's all these different levels and
content.
Content.
All content.
But I'm saying what it originally was,
Yes.
it was like, oh my gosh. And it was good because it was like, you know, in my day, there's like a ton of really interesting documentaries about the porn industry in the Valley from 25 years ago. And I was like fascinated with like porn documentaries.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
All of them.
Yeah.
Anything. There was like I don't know why. I was just fascinated by it. The women, how they'd be interviewed, what they would say, what they would do. And even back then they were like, no, I love it, you know, and then there'd be someone that didn't love it, whatever. And I always found it interesting. Like whether it was the story of Tracy Lords, who was this girl who was doing porn and was making it huge. And then they found out that she was actually under 18 when these movies were made. But then there was a whole thing was like, no, she knew what she was doing and she wanted this news to get out. And then she became like a mainstream real actress. So there was always this like, oh, well, if you do this, even like Boogie Nights, the movie of Boogie Nights, all that kind of stuff. And now like that whole industry of like, okay, how many movies are you going to do? But you don't own it. You're just an actress. That feels like that doesn't even exist anymore.
Well, the scale is so different now because this phone has changed your life. I mean, the amount of people that you can reach instantly and secretively and control what's coming out, why would you go and work for someone else?
Right.
What's the point? If you have smart people that know how to market you like this woman, and you have content that is great and you're beautiful and you're having fun, I mean, there's millions, if not billions of dollars that can be made, and you're in control of it. So you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, and you're in control of everything in your life.
Yeah, I was going to say something that's interesting to me is like back in the day, people were lining up, like girls were lining up to pose nude in Playboy for
Right.
free.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and-
Basically
For
free.
$2,500.
There were so many girls that didn't
Yeah.
get paid and they would just want to do it for the fame or be around Hugh Hefner and all that stuff. So like it's interesting to me because the moment like female empowerment came into place and now all these girls are rising up and taking on their own stuff and doing their own businesses and becoming smarter is like kind of in the shift with OnlyFans coming out. And I think the biggest misconception is that OnlyFans is all porn.
It is
Because when I first saw this industry, the only reason I even touched it because it was so drastically different from anything I did, and I didn't want to be in that space initially, was because it's the exact same thing as an e-commerce store. So the only difference from like Fashion Nova, like the brand name Fashion Nova with all the products, the only difference is that they're selling products, and on this brand's website, which is the talent's name and has things for sale, is that it's content. So it's actually ran very similarly to an e-commerce website. And so I helped creators create their own brands. And I used to see that like, oh, wow, there's only a certain percent that will buy a hairbrush from this creator that even care about that, right? But 100% of their fans are following them to see more of them. And so if you put a paywall in front of it, there's people that will pay just to talk to them, just to ask them, what are you doing today? Or oh, can I have a private tour of your room in your house and pay thousands of dollars where they're like, here's my bedroom, this is my doggy Fluff.
Yeah.
Like the things that are being sold is insane,
insane.
just because it's more access to your favorite creator. So if you use it in that way, girls don't have to go fully nude or do that type of stuff. And so that's where our sweet spot has been, is that literally there's only like a very few select creators that actually show a nipple that are signed to me, and the rest of them don't do any nudity. And so at the end of the day, we let the talent decide, like, what do you want to do? It's their choice 100%. But the main thing is that I think that the reason it monetizes so well is people are willing to pay for more access. If you think about Netflix, like Netflix proved that the content is valuable enough and people will pay not to have to see an ad. And so it's the same thing now. It's going into the creator space. People don't want to see you hold up your sponsored post or say to buy this and buy that. People will pay to have content and more access to you. And so I think the world is changing and the paywall industry is becoming more and more powerful. So anything that you can pay to have access or content without ads, people are doing. And I think it's going to become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Like Instagram launched the subscription. Like everyone's trying to figure out how to do this.
Does it kill your entrepreneurial math brain that Brittany is doing what she's doing, and why is she not on an OnlyFans?
The reason why, I've tried to get her multiple times. The reason why is because she has to deal with like some very brand friendly, I think it's like Disney or someone is doing some big deal with her, so she can't be on OnlyFans or it'll get. But it's interesting because she's giving it for free. I don't know.
You mean,
I can't understand.
you're saying right now she can't sign, but you think she was actually interested in possibly doing that?
I would assume that she would have done based off what I've heard. Yes.
I just made Britney Spears a $10 million offer to sit down for a 1-hour interview, which she turned down. So clearly, and this was a real offer, a real buyer.
Well, thank you for representing me in that. And I'm
You're-
so
you're wel-
disappointed
you're-
that it did not work
you're
out.
welcome.
I am willing
But-
to go down a couple mil if you want to go back.
10 million for 1 hour. She doesn't need to do she doesn't want to do anything, and the people that are around her don't want her to do anything. And this was an offer that was made directly to her with no agents, no managers, just people that are really like with her, saying, here's $10 million. All you have to do is sit down for an hour. I'm kind of glad that she turned it down, because I feel like the feedback I got of where she is in her life right now, the interview wouldn't have gone well for her. And you wouldn't have been able to maybe recover from whatever that comes out from that interview. And that's a sad, scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, my client wanted me to make the offer. I made the offer, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean that's been the thing that like Spencer Pratt has said from the very beginning, like why is she just giving it all? Because no matter what, I mean she's turned off the comments, but she'll still get hundreds of thousands of likes and views. And obviously she likes doing it because that's giving her some feedback while she's just alone in her house, spinning around in her brown sensible pumps and bikini and fur hat, like, but yeah, I guess she won't. But I think at one point maybe she will.
I think the cool way to look at it too is like, I think a lot of these females started to realize that did go on OnlyFans is like they were all posting photos in bikinis and all this stuff for free.
Right.
And so now they're like, okay, you're going to judge me because now I'm selling that same photo I used to post for free. That's why it's like yes, there's a lot of porn on OnlyFans. So there's girls that do porn, but there's a lot of girls that are literally selling the same photo that they could easily post for free on Instagram that wouldn't get shadow banned because it's aligned with Instagram's terms and services. It's not porn.
Yeah.
And they're selling it for like $50 a sell. And just something about the people buying that they have access to it. It's them. No one else is seeing it. It's
kind of like an NFT in a weird way.
Yeah, it's like an
like
NFT.
It's got that feeling that like you're the only one that has this piece of content. And you've got to think, your phone, you're reaching the world.
Yeah.
A DVD can only move as far as somebody walking in a store and buying it. This is access to everything. So the amount of money that's made so quickly, 5 years ago when I met Tara and we mutually represent Tana, Mojo, and I learned a whole business that I was trying to understand, that she came and basically gave me the 5 bullet points of how this thing works. And once you understand how that works, you can cross everybody over into this side and into my side very easily. You just have to have the ability, the look, the style, and the outlet to do it. And if you have that, you should make money on every side of the business.
Now, in talking to the fans privately, that type of thing. Has it ever come where there is a scary moment, or where someone does connect with a fan, or maybe does want to meet them in person, or does fall in love with a fan, or like, has there ever been any, or it gets to a scary like stalker type of place?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's been girls that when they're talking to their fans have dealt with some interesting situations. And I think there's more good than bad. But of course, I think once you're a big influencer and you have a lot of fans, some people get, stalkers and obsessed with them even before OnlyFans. Any girl that has millions of followers probably has stalkers. I've had some of my friends tell me that like they've had men like standing outside of their window.
But that's
have, like,
anyone
millions
who's
of followers.
famous. It's not attributed because of OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a fame thing. If you're famous, that's going to happen. I'm sure you have stalkers. I'm sure there's
No,
people.
I don't.
Should we get you one?
I have some weird haters, but I think they're too
Well,
lazy
haters
to
are-
leave. I think
haters
they're too
are
lazy to
stalkers.
leave their house. But
That's the same thing.
But nothing to whatever. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that's just the thing. It's like, sadly, you can find anybody.
Yeah.
And so it's just being like hyper vigilant around your surroundings when you're out and all that. But with with doing it, does it ever get to a place where someone is like, wow, if I do this, maybe I do still want to be an actor, and this could affect my acting?
Those days are over, I think. I don't know what you think, but
Yeah,
I think
I
those days
agree.
are completely gone.
What about when I sometimes think, oh, this person's making $2 million a month? Does it then par off?
Yeah.
Because it's okay, I got to see my high school crush that was this movie star, and I followed her for like a couple of months, but I am a horny dude and I only have so much money, so now I'm going to go to another person.
The problem is that the space is still new, and we were the first agency in this space, and so there's no one that's been around for 5 years in this space. It's still new, but we've been around 5 years, but people are only just now coming into this industry. So the data and understanding basically what an infrastructure should look like behind a creator to be successful on these paywall platforms is still new. So a lot of these celebrities that are launching, they don't know who to go with, and there's random pop-up agencies that are like, we can do it, we can do it.
It's not. You can't.
So it's kind of like the wild, wild west in this industry because it's been taboo, so it's not much.
Now you're taking people that already have a following that you can really get, but what if there is that person at home that's pretty cute and attractive and down to just see, hey, can I do something with this? And they don't have a big following, and how would they start a following where it's worth it? Because it also takes a lot of time. I don't think people realize how much time it takes to get in the outfit, take the photos, make them look good, post it, write the captions, whatever it is, whether you're on Instagram or OnlyFans or whatever. And so what is your advice to them?
Well, what's interesting too is I've seen a lot of moms that are secretly on OnlyFans, and their whole community doesn't know in their neighborhood, and they're taking their kids to school, but they're secretly on OnlyFans because they don't promote it on their socials.
Right.
So there's ways that you can do it fully undercover, not put your real name. And what's cool about OnlyFans is there's no search discovery. They do that so that everyone has privacy. It's you basically send a link just to yourself. But to do that, if you wanted to start out, you could go to girls' OnlyFans and message them and be like, hey, I'll pay you to shout me out. And so you pay them to post about you, and you can get traffic like that without ever publicly showing anyone you have one. And so there's a huge market on OnlyFans that are secretly doing it because they're scared that people would judge them. But yeah, it just depends. I always say that any creator that wants to do it, I never push a creator or talent to do it. I'm like, it's your decision because you're going to have to live with the decision. If that's something you actually – I never want to sign anyone that's I don't know, I'm worried about this, or this. I'm like, well, then don't do it until you feel confident and
what do they
good
say?
about
I'm worried
it.
about what? Will I ever marry a nice doctor? Would
my parents would think.
Yeah.
Or what if I want to have kids and now there's these photos out on the internet? It's well, then you shouldn't do that content. You should only do what you're comfortable living with being on the internet because it is the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what other is it interesting to see when someone is I had Drea Di Matteo from Sopranos, and she joined 2 years ago at 51. Mm-hmm. And she's hot and sexy, and what a great following she has of the kind of hot. Her character was so appealing to such a broad audience, but of men. Mm-hmm. So it's oh my God, I can see, my favorite girl from Sopranos and do all the things. And she said, it paid her mortgage within hours of being on it or whatever it was. And so do you see an influx of like older actresses coming on.
Yes, I heard of another new actress that it's about to come on. Yeah, I do see it's an influx of that. I personally think it's because when you have a following on the internet, you can't actually monetize it well if you're a girl that has a male following. Unless you're maybe doing TV or film, but like you're not going to get brand deals. It's really hard. What are you going to promote? A male product? Like,
Right.
Because that's the only thing that your fans will buy. So then most businesses don't really want to work with you. So they don't know how to monetize, but they have this huge following and a ton of engagement. So that you're the perfect person to start an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense why they're doing it. But I do see a lot of these celebrities launching, and they're launching with bad teams, and then they have a spike, and then they go.
And then
like
we
this.
get them.
Okay, so now let me ask you about this. What about all the stuff we hear about, that was going on for the last 15 years? It might still be going on, where the girls go on, they're yachty girls. They're going on the Dubai trip.
That's a different
They're being
thing.
invited.
That's totally different.
I know that's different. I know that's
called
different.
prostitution.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's
I know
different.
that's not what you guys do.
No.
No.
But like,
This
what
is
is
tech
your
entrepreneurship.
right? But I'm just saying, we're just talking shit here. Like, what is
We're talking serious
your
shit
thought? Is there ever a safe?
now. She said thought.
Is there ever?
What's her thought?
Is there ever a
THOT.
safe way to be one of those girls that goes on the trip, gets the money, maybe gets the Air May bag, and comes back without a
Whoa.
humiliating,
that
life-changing
world.
story?
I don't really know that world that well, but I did grow up in LA, and I'm around a bunch of wealthy, successful men that have told me that they've seen very famous influencers and creators on something called The List. And The List has there's also very big celebrities on it. And The List has a price for how much you can pay to spend the night with this person. And there's some people that I've heard that are on it that I'm like,
Do you have
what?
this list?
I've never seen The List, but I've
Heather,
had
have you?
wealthy,
But it's it's like-
successful men. And there's
and
like,
it's shock. It like I've heard that too. And
Yeah.
it's like legit movie stars.
yes, there's
Yes.
there's a lot of movie stars on it. There's some big top models that you would never, ever think.
So this is like personal appearance to the next level. That's like
I mean-
that's prostitution, personal appearance.
It's the highest. It's the high
Holy shit.
expensive.
That's insane.
Yes.
Yes. So there's like, and supposedly
Who's on the
like,
list?
supposedly you have to like, you have to be a very successful vetted man to like get the list. I don't know. This is what
Right.
I've
Know
heard.
that you're like, just like if you're going to show someone a house, it's like, I need to know that you have 10 million in the bank before I even take you to this house.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, you'd have to be vetted to know that you can pay this, that you're safe, that you're,
Pre-approval letter.
yeah, you need
Yeah,
approval.
you're financed up to 10 million in Dubai boating
Yeah.
with this person.
I think that was the most shocking thing for me about being in LA and being in this industry is hearing that type of stuff. Like
Wow,
that
that's
there's
nuts.
powerful women that have done those types of things. And I think that as much as people want to shit on OnlyFans, and trust me, most of the population does, it has brought in the power back to the females to be like,
sure.
don't touch me. You're not going to see me in person. You can look at my photos that other girls are posting for free, but you better pay me for it. Like, it's kind of empowering.
Think about how many
I think
jobs
the
you get.
difference is when I was talking about my fascination with, porn stars who liked doing porn. You remember, like back in the day, they would go to there would be conventions and they'd sign things and they had products and the Jenna Jamesons. And then there was also this book that I was fascinated with, which was "You'll Never Make Love in This Town Again," which was the inspiration for my book, which is "You'll Never Blue Ball in This Town Again," about all the people
Love
I
it.
dated and didn't fuck. But it was this really juicy book that was basically about high-class hookers in LA in the 90s that were either product of, Heidi Fleiss, who was like the biggest, and then the person that she kind of basically stole the black book from was this like other older lady. And the stories were like juicy, but they were tragic. Like they were not, there was not a happy ending to any of those stories. And it's really kind of nice and refreshing to know that as a pretty girl, you can, and not necessarily be a prostitute or anything, but you could use your looks. That is your gift. That is one of your gifts, that you are attractive, that you are desirable, and that you can use it and be safe and, write your own story and do it for as long as you want, or do that thing of, it used to be that you had to be, I'm just stripping till I get my medical
Yes.
degree. Like all that kind of stuff that always existed now it's
helped the
here
industry
and
a
it's
lot.
and it's much better and safer and
and I think that when I was talking, because when we first started, there was not one mainstream person on OnlyFans. So I used to talk to the founder a lot of OnlyFans. And I think that was the saddest thing that I saw him go through, is how many people just ripped him apart and this company apart when they've actually brought in so much safety to so many females and changed so many lives and helped so many people get out of debt, buy their family. Like the amount of money that has been given to so many good people on the internet, like they're actually good creators. A lot of them care. It's been really cool to see. And so that was, I know, like one of the biggest reasons he was like, it's a lot to handle, like the press constantly trying to pick him apart. And, it's a sexualized industry. So it's really easy to make you look bad in this industry. Very easy. And so I think there's a lot of people that hate watching these beautiful women make money with their looks. They hate it. They want to rip them apart. And so it's not an easy industry to be in.
Do you have people that really kind of specialize in having the feet?
Like, what do you mean?
Feet. Like how people say, oh, people would pay this much for the feet.
Yeah, there's so many niches on the platform. It's wild. I don't really see them because I don't run the accounts.
What about just what I call like just an armpit vagina? if I just do a long series of just like, hey,
that could work.
Look how smooth and fabulous it is.
She's more in the 1%er business of the OnlyFans game.
I'm going to bring in new niches.
You could.
I could either hang out with your wife and be funny all weekend for a price if you're rich enough, or I could just take photos of this.
Should we do it? Should we do, just for the audience and the fans, should you have a test OnlyFans page?
Yes.
Doesn't have to be porn, doesn't have to be risque.
Yeah.
Let's just see what can be sold.
It might be a fun example. It might be a fun social experience. I'm not like afraid of anything like that.
I think that you would have women like Tana. She has a lot of women that they're talking to her all day, and I feel like you're like a powerful female, and girls would maybe just pay to just talk to you and ask you for advice.
Yeah.
Because you have to reverse engineer what you're selling. You can use it as an outlet to answer questions, to get a shout out, to get sent a video. It has cameo elements to it too. So it's like, you want to buy this video of me saying this? Here it is. Now I can show everybody. Now I can do this. So it's taking this world and figuring out, how do you create those businesses to sell to on a huge platform?
Mm-hmm.
And what about, have you ever found it difficult for couples, like the girl starts to really do it and at first the guy is okay with it, and then she's, heartbroken because he's not, which is like, fuck you, dude. Like,
for sure.
It's a tough world out there.
Yeah, if you can't enjoy the
Super
benefits of all of this. But have you ever had to like counsel a friend/client in that?
Yes, I remember I had a girl come sit with me one time. She made like $150K a month, and she sat me down and said her new relationship doesn't want her to have an OnlyFans, so she's going to delete it. And then I remember being like, okay, yeah, if you want to. I was like, okay, just make sure you know that you're going to be with this person. And she's like, no, I am. And then she deleted it. And then fast forward 1 year, he cheated on her. Yep. And then she came to my office and said that was the worst mistake I made. And I was like,
she's making $300,000 now.
Did she come back? Did she come back?
She did, yeah. We started her from scratch, so it was really hard.
I always, that's the thing. It's like sometimes when people think, with any kind of guy, I remember my friend being like, even girls that like think like, oh, I'll go for the guy. He's not the sexiest. He's not the hottest, but I'm so much cuter than he. Like, he'll be such a safe bet. He'll worship me forever. I'm like, then that guy is like, I can't believe I got this fabulous woman. I must really be the shit. And then they go and cheat. So go for the best.
That's
go
so
for
true.
the guy you're attracted to, the guy that has money, the guy that's worthy of you. Don't ever go below your standard and think that that's going to make you a more loyal partner, because it's not.
I love that. It was like, the saying is like, if you settle for less than you deserve, you'll get exactly what you settled for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, very true.
Very true.
Well, I loved talking to you guys, and tell everybody where they can follow you and find you. And if they are interested, if there might be a possible connection, where they should contact.
Yeah, we do more than OnlyFans. We do brand deals, Snapchat monetization, podcasting. We do so much. So my name is Tara Electra, so you can find me there. And our agency is called Unruly Agency.
Yes.
And I am David Weintraub, Sir David Weintraub on Instagram, and at DWE Talent on Instagram. And I have my program if you are interested in embarking into becoming famous, becoming a star, making it in reality TV. And really, I have done this for many years as an agent, a producer, the star of my own shows, a creator, and I teach you how to make it in Hollywood. You go to thehollywoodhandbook.com and take the course, and you have direct access. You want to learn? Come on, let's go. Let's get that money.
That's right. All right, you guys. And to see my live shows, especially this weekend at the Irvine Improv, Friday and Saturday and Sunday night, I will be there at heathermcdonald.net. And I have a Patreon, not OnlyFans yet. So you got to join the Patreon. It's also on heathermcdonald.net. Thank you. Bye.